All right. Hello and welcome to the Gradient Works Expert Q&A. I'm really excited to have Lily Yoon on here with us. So Lily, why don't you introduce yourself?
Thanks, Hayes. First of all, really excited to be a part of this. So thank you for the introduction. Like Hayes mentioned, my name is Lily Yoon. I currently live in Austin, Texas with my golden retriever named Albus Dumbledog and my husband. Also a UT graduate, so hook 'em horns. And in regards to work experience and my background, I've been an individual contributor as a sales development representative and an inside sales representative. Managed an SDR team and also have been a director of a sales team as well. So, um, in regards to those roles, I've been in a part of three different startups, and so I'm actually a part on my third startup right now.
So, metrics are obviously part of all of this, but, how do you stay on top of your team's performance overall, both from a metrics and a people perspective?
Yeah. So in regards to metrics, I usually have my dashboards built out and it shows a daily activities report, previous day activities, month to date activities as well to make sure we're on pace to hit our overall goal. And like you mentioned, it's not just the data, the metrics aspect that's important. It's also the people aspect, the SDR role and sales roles in general. There's a lot of burnout because you're doing a lot of the same things of cold calling, emailing, and being told no and trying to find a way to get that into yes. And so I think being really cognizant of how your team is feeling in the current situation is important to help them get through and make sure they understand like the value that they have within the organization and how they're contributing to the team.
So this is obviously an interesting time with everybody being remote. How do you stay on top of that and make sure that you have a sense of where people are in terms of their headspace?
Yeah, this is a good question. So, um, my previous experience when I was director of sales development and I had about 50-ish SDRs, it was a bit unrealistic for me to do a one-on-one with them every week. But I would do quarterly one-on-ones with everyone because I wanted to make sure I understood where everybody was wanting to was what they were wanting to achieve in with their career and make sure I understood that so I can find ways to help them achieve that. And then in my current role, I'm a bit of a smaller team now, and so with everything being virtual, I have morning sales stand-ups with the team. I've given them my cell phone number so they know that they can text me at any time and call me at any time if they need anything. We do midday check-ins, and then also we'll just do fun games here and there. So one of the games we did this morning, it was just like this big wheel, and you can put in little options. And one of them was like, Lily does 10 jump squats if we get this objection handled.
Mhm.
And so, just making sure the team is, understands that you're available for them whenever they need is really important. And then also taking their feedback. Like as a leader, you don't always have to be the person with coming up with ideas. Your team is more than capable to come up with ideas that they would enjoy doing as a team themselves and ways of communicating. So asking them is very valuable as well.
Okay. So let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about compensation and career paths. So I've heard in my discussions with lots of revenue leaders, in my experience, I've seen uh, a fair number of different permutations on how you should comp SDRs. Do you feel like there is one true comp plan, or how do you approach it when you think about designing comp plans?
It's a great question. Yeah, I don't know if there's a one true comp plan that fits every organization, and it would be amazing if there was. I would love to know what it is. But I think it's unique to each sales organization and the product that they're selling. And what's really important to make sure though that the quota and the comp plan makes sense for the SDRs, because you don't want to set up a quota or a comp plan that's unrealistic, because it just becomes a demotivator for the team. And so making sure you're in touch with like your sales leaders and understanding what the sales new business team is expecting from the SDR team, and having that understanding of this is what the SDR team has contributed historically and this is what's capable for the future, and working on the
Okay,
comp plan together that way.
that makes sense. So what do you see as the components of a comp plan? I mean, one thing that's unique about the SDR role, I mean, not unique, but different from an AE role is, it's pre-revenue. It's earlier in the sales cycle, right? And so you can't just comp on I closed one, right? Because there's downstream folks from that, from the SDR effort. So how do you think about the components that go into the comp plan?
Yeah. So I think over time, comp plans can change. They depend on how the sales organization grows. And so, you know, I think the overall goal is to keep comp plans as simple as possible, because the harder it gets to calculate, no one's really motivated to try to calculate it and figure it out. And so, um, like early stages, I've been a part of a team where, as an individual contributor, we were solely comped on demos occurred. And then, we realized that there's a quality factor that needs to go in. And so we did sales accepted opportunities and demos occurred as a combined payout structure. And then, we've also done a payout structure where you also had close one compensation that was provided for every deal that you source at a new business rep close. And that way it adds a little bit more of a direct connection between the work that the SDR team does in generating revenue.
Okay, that makes sense. So, how do you think about the career path for SDRs? So often it's an entry level job. It's sort of a first sales role. So how do you design a career path that helps an SDR kind of move forward in their career?
A lot of support is what's really important, and make sure it gets started. And I remember when we first wanted to start a career path at my last organization, for SDRs into a full cycle sales role, it was, really someone within the leadership team. It was like, we should really start working on this. And, we ended up getting more of the senior leaders a part of that, and made sure it was in line with our growth path for the new business sales team. Because you can't just promote SDRs into a sales role that doesn't exist for quota capacity. So I think it was like a group effort for sure. Like once you have a basis of what the promotion path should look like, then you have to get the people who are committed to helping the SDRs learn the skill sets they need to be successful once they get promoted to a full cycle sales rep. So having actually gone through that whole process, I've seen a lot of benefits in being able to have that career path set up and the training program that goes along with it. Instead of having someone going straight from doing SDR work and then the very next month being told, hey, you're going to start closing deals this month and this is your quota, having that ramp plan before they get promoted into that full cycle sales role where they get the experience and the training of understanding how to demo and negotiate, can really increase the probability for a new hire to be successful their first 2-3 months.
Okay. All right. Well, so I really appreciated your time today and all your insights into the SDR role. And so thank you very much for sharing all your experiences. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Ace. Thanks for having me.